Hello, everybody, and welcome to another SARE National session. My name is Jenny Anchondo, and I'm here as your host and moderator for today. We get together each and every week really to enrich ourselves, to learn, to glean some experience and expertise from experts in their field. Today's session is called Smart Growth. We're talking about 5 strategic moves to scale your business using your natural strengths. And our expert today is Nancy Pérez. She's a business growth strategist and engineer. She comes with a wealth of knowledge. So let me tell you a little bit about Nancy. If you were not here last week, this is part 2 in a 2-part series, but do not worry if you were not here last week or have not caught the replay. We will have a little bit of a recap and you'll be able to still learn quite a bit from Nancy. She is an international businesswoman. She's an engineer. I mentioned she is a strategist. So in terms of education, she does hold dual master's degrees in business administration and international business. And then she's certified as a project management professional. If you're thinking, what exactly does that mean? She'll be able to let us know about that. She's also a facilities management specialist. She's a 6 Sigma Master Black Belt and a member of the John Maxwell team. So we've had some other speakers that have come in here that have been through that John Maxwell program. We know it can be really, really helpful. She does have more than 20 years of experience leading high impact projects across Latin America, the Caribbean, and the United States. And again, we talk about sort of that operational excellence, and that's what Nancy is bringing to the table. She is also the co-founder of a company called Build It Up. So this is a consulting firm to help entrepreneurs and organizations scale with clarity and with purpose. She's also a mother, an educator, a change maker. She passionately empowers women in STEM to align their strengths, lead with vision, and scale their businesses through sustainable growth. So excited to hear from Nancy today. Now, something special that we've been doing on Nancy's sessions is that she actually will be bringing in one of her colleagues, Carlos Solis. So I'll tell you a little bit about Carlos, and then she can share a little bit more later if she'd like. Carlos Solis is an accomplished project management consultant, pure procurement expert, and an international leadership coach. So we're talking about 15 years of experience managing complex projects across Latin America and the Caribbean. He brings this combination, they say, of intelligence, strategic planning, and real world execution. He holds a global MBA. He is a PMP certified project manager. I will acknowledge I do not know what that is, but Carlos can explain. He is also a John Maxwell certified leadership trainer and speaker. So in terms of his background and experience, and I know we like to know this so we know what types of questions we can ask, he has worked with both the private and public sectors, including Fortune 500 companies. He has worked on scaling, he's worked on smart systems, he's worked on procurement, and he's worked on organizational alignment. So I mentioned the company Build It Up. He is a co-founder of Build It Up, really a driving force behind the Business Growth Accelerator, bringing structure and sustainability to high impact businesses. He is going to join us today to really share some insights on how strategy, structure, and smart leadership can unlock growth at every level. So we will hear from our presenter, then we will bring him in. Okay, without further ado, take it away. I'm going to mute myself and start taking notes right along with everybody else.
Thank you, Jenny. I'm going to start sharing presentation now. Well, hello and welcome. My name is Nancy Pérez. I'm an engineer. I'm a mother, an entrepreneur, an international project management consultant, like Jenny just told you. And today I want to share a message that is not only close to my heart, but critical to every individual in the business who knows that they're meant for more. This session is about smart growth and the 5 strategic moves that will allow you to scale your business with clarity, structure, and soul. Last week, we explored the foundation of success through the strength-driven business. This is a model rooted in the belief that when we align our own natural talents, values, and vision, we create not just momentum, but meaning. We also discussed how self-awareness, clarity, and authenticity are powerful engines for sustainable leadership and fulfillment. But alignment is just the beginning. We also explored a number of ideas and a number of steps that we should follow. Today, we want to take that foundation and translate it into strategic, scalable action. Because once we are in harmony with our strengths, The next step is to grow intelligently with systems, strategy, and structure. And that's exactly what smart growth is all about. Building the business you envision through focused, intentional moves that amplify your impact without sacrificing your peace. Isn't that what we all want? Like many of you, I have built businesses while raising a family, and that can be a challenge. Managing uncertainty, and in my particular case, while also navigating in male dominated industries. I have known burnout, I have known doubt, but I have also discovered that growth doesn't have to come at the cost of your peace, your time, and your values. The turning point came when I stopped hustling harder and started growing smarter. And I know all of you have heard that, but nobody tells you how to do it. Nobody gives you the insights of the steps to follow. And it does sound amazing. It does sound as something you would like to do. But more importantly, we have to know how to do it, when to do it. So let me be honest. The cost of scaling without strategy is a lot. It can be dangerous, it can cause failure, and it can cost you a lot of time. So when we look at the statistics that are aligned with scaling without a strategy, let me tell you that when we do this, when we scale without strategy, it's not growth at all, but glorified chaos. And I don't think any one of us wants that. Look at these numbers. 70% of startups fail not because the idea is bad, but because the vision was unclear, the systems were weak, and strategy was missing. Now, another statistic that we have to take in account is that women often scale with more stress, less support, and fewer resources. And when you grow fast without structure, you multiply confusion, but not results. And this is why smart growth matters. It is growth with intention, with design, and especially it is growth with direction. And that's precisely the kind of growth that you want to have. So, smart growth is not about working more. This is something we covered before. It is about working wisely. So we have to say that smart growth is rooted in three different pillars. So let's take a look at what those pillars look like. The first pillar is intention. Intention means making decisions. But listen carefully. These decisions have to be aligned with who you are, your vision, your values, and those long term goals. It is about growing on purpose, not by accident, and certainly not by pressure. So, what is it about growing on purpose? This is how it looks, and I want to give you an example with one of our clients. We will call our client Maria. Maria owns a family owned business. Let's describe her business as a two-person bakery. So, Maria started her business with such an illusion, purpose, and a vision. And when wholesalers began to beg her for volume orders, first of all, the money looked great. So, Maria agreed to it. But it meant 3 a.m. shifts and no time for her kids. So, one thing was costing her valuable time. And Maria had to pause herself and ask, does this honor my vision of a community based artisan brand? And the answer was no, it certainly didn't. So she instead launched a Saturday bread making class that doubled her profit per hour without wrecking her mornings. And she could comply to her vision and dedicate time to her family. So, what is my takeaway in a story like this? First of all, intention is definitely your internal GPS. If the option does not move you toward the life you want, it is a detour, not an opportunity. And this is exactly what was happening to Maria, and we helped her see that. Now, let's look at the second pillar, efficiency. Efficiency is basically doing what matters the most with the least wasted energy. In other words, doing more with less. So it's about simplifying processes, focusing on high impact actions, and using our time and energy strategically. How does this look? I'm going to give you another example with one of our clients, and we're going to call him Jorge. Jorge has a mobile detail service, and he spends 10 hours a week booking appointments by phone. He adopted a free Calendly link and prepaid deposits and route planning software. Same truck, same staff, but 15% more jobs per week and zero no-shows. Why? Because now he has a different process, all through a Calendly link and prepaid deposits, which actually made clients commit to not canceling. What was our key takeaway in this effort? First, true efficiency is not about squeezing every second. It is about removing and streamlining non-value tasks so that resources you save can be reinvested in growth that actually moves the business forward. And we think that by doing this, he was able to become more efficient. The third pillar is sustainability. Sustainability is about building something that lasts without burning yourself out in the process. And this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs have a great challenge with because you want to do a lot and you want to do it yourself. Sustainability, it's not about short-term wins. It is about creating systems, structures that can support your growth without sacrificing your health, your family, or the personal freedom that was probably the first intention you had when you started your own business. So, sustainability for us as a company and Build It Up is the foundation of everything we teach inside the Business Growth Accelerator. We think that sustainability is what will help people not only succeed in their businesses, but grow consistently and perpetuate their businesses so that your kids can inherit a business. Let's talk about an example of someone we help. Well, we're going to call our client Anna. Anna sells handmade candles online. She started her business during the pandemic as a home-based business because she had no income. So she started with an Instagram account with friends, family, and then she thrived. So during holidays, Anna experiences peaks, Christmas, Mother's Day, Valentine's, and she pulls all-nighters. She's terribly burned out, and then in January, she has no more energy. So this year, 2025, she outsourced pouring to local co-packer a setup reorder that triggers and cap lead times for Mother's Day. Her sales rose 40% compared to Mother's Day 2024. And you know what? This summer, she's finally taking a vacation. So I think that our main takeaway here is that if the owner collapses, the company follows. Because this is true for every solopreneur company. And our strategies for sustainable growth will end up protecting both the owner and their company. So we think that you have to always take in account that when you're thinking about growth, intention, efficiency, and sustainability. Now let's talk about those 5 strategic moves that you need to make in order to set a good foundation for the smart growth for your company. And as we dive into these 5 strategic moves, just remember to keep in mind we need to grow smarter, not harder. First of all, we will clarify our vision on the business. Remember, a business without a clear why is like a GPS with no destination. Your car will keep on driving. You don't have a clear destination. So you definitely need a compelling vision that drives decisions, that helps you align a team when you have one, and keeps you focused on your principles. For our projects and for our clients, we normally use a tool for this. And the tool is the Vision and Purpose Statement Canvas. This one pager helps us create a strategic vision that aligns your business with your personal mission. And it's so practical because in this one pager, you can keep it near you, near where you work, on your folder, to always remember what was the vision you had when you founded your company. And that way you can always tell when you're growing from the moment when you are deterring. Our second strategic move is to strengthen our business model. And for this, remember, a business model, it's not only about selling. It is about delivering consistent value and profitability. We have to repeat the same good service. We have to be able to replicate the same product. Otherwise, our business model is not going to be strong. It's going to be dependent on one person, on one machine, on one team. And this certainly limits your growth. So in our in our company, we have a tool for this one, and it's called the Business Model Canvas. This tool helps us map out how we create, deliver, and capture value. Because in the end, we need to be different. A successful business has to be able to differentiate what they do or the product they have from its competition. Our third move has to do with automating what repeats. Repetition without automation leads to exhaustion. So we need to use systems to free our time and actually have time to scale our business. For this step, for this move in the company, we use a tool called the Automated Workflow Template. And this is a lot like a CRM, and you have a lot of options in the market that you can look into depending on the size of your company, the type of product you're selling, the type of service you're selling, and what do you want to get from it. Our fourth strategic move is to build a power network. And this is so important. Remember, we don't scale chaos. We want to scale clarity. So precisely systems are a foundation of this part. Sustainable growth will always come from structure, intention, and direction, just the GPS that we mentioned a while ago. So when we are trying to build a power network, we definitely need to acknowledge that nobody grows in isolation. As human beings, we are connected. As businesses, we need to be connected to clients, to other business, to suppliers. We need to be connected. We all need mentors. We all need allies. We all need collaborators. So we need to strengthen those connections. And for that, we use a powerful tool called the Power Network Map. This helps us identify 5 key people that we need. We need a mentor, we need a connector, we need a client, we need a collaborator, and we need an advisor. Everybody needs that. Everyone who's thinking about growing will need to identify these 5 people. Finally, our 5th strategic move is precisely to lead with discipline and heart. And I just wish this was as easy as it is to read it. Discipline. Discipline is that ingredient that makes a difference in everybody's life. Leadership is not about control. Leadership is about influence. It is about consistency. It is about courage, and it is about vision. So for this one, we use a tool called the weekly CEO agenda. And we ask our clients to block out time weekly to dedicate to think of your vision, your operations, your finances, and self care. And you need to block out this time because if the CEO is not growing, the company is not growing either. Remember, leadership is about influence. And with these moves, we guarantee that it will take you from a reactive point of view to a strategic point of view. Basically, we will be able to move your company from chaos to clarity. And this is exactly where you want to be in order to grow. So, my story is very similar to a lot of entrepreneurs. I started a business, my business was thriving, and I was working 16 to 18 hours a day to keep it thriving. And that is not sustainable. So I needed a change. I was burning out. I started hating my business. I started hating everything I did because I did not have time for anything I liked. And if you recall, why you started your business, probably it was because you wanted more time for yourself. So I was practically a victim of my own success. So when I applied these 5 moves that we just described, I stopped being the bottleneck in my own company. I was able to delegate, and I had to learn to do that. I was able to systemize and to align my vision with what I wanted to do. Surprisingly, it doubled my income in less than a year, and I was able to work less hours. If somebody had told me I would be able to do that, probably I would have not believed it because inside I thought, my business depends on me. If I stop, everything stops. But that was not true. And I am so happy to know that now that it is not true. So I thought this worked for me, and I actually took it into 2 of my own businesses, and it was scalable. So I thought we need to teach this. We need to teach everyone. We need to make it available. And this is how the Business Growth Accelerator came to our reality. And what we do is we align the steps that I'm going to explain to you. And we have a program for this to guarantee that your business will also shift and that you will have more free time for yourself. Step 1 is about clarifying. And this is very important. This is very important because as you grow, as time goes by, as your intention changes, it is important to clarify your vision and especially clarify your direction. So scaling definitely starts with clarity. If you're not clear on where you're going, no strategy, team, tool, or miracle will help you get there. This step is about defining your long-term vision, your short-term goals, and especially that magical word I know you've all heard of, the KPIs, which are the key performance indexes. The objective is to align all of those with your purpose and your desired business model. It includes analyzing your ideal client, your value proposition, your pricing strategy, and we need to ensure that your growth is not just possible, but that will be profitable, which is what everybody wants. So when the vision is clear, the decisions will start coming easily. Clarity certainly eliminates a lot of noise and fuels the confidence. Once you know where you're headed, which is step one, the outcome step one is know where I'm headed. The next logical step is to build on the right structure to support my growth. Vision without structure is just a dream, and we don't want that. Structure that turns into a business, that's what we want. We definitely want to build a momentum. And that takes us to step two, which is structure. The objective of step two will be to build a scalable framework. Remember, in any system, structure is about building the backbone of your business, where it will stand, how it will stand. And basically, with this is your offers, your systems, your workflows, your delivery model, anything that makes your business particular. It's how you move from being the operator of your business to becoming the architect of your business. And this is good because structure will definitely allow you to free a lot of your time. So, what does structure include? First of all, it's defining and documenting all of your core processes. Let's talk about those. What is a core process? It's a main process that allows me to deliver value to others. Basically, what the client sees that I'm better at and the reason he pays us. So, an example of those core processes could be sales, onboarding, delivery, and certainly how we follow up with clients. It's very important. It also includes creating repeatable services or product packages. This is very important because a client will come to you because of your uniqueness. But sustainability and structure allows us to create stability, which means a repetition of this service and packages so that they are consistent with the expectation that the client already has for your products. It also includes designing a client experience that is consistent and easy to manage. The client will know what to expect and how it will look like every time. And this is very important for you. Definitely, structure gives your vision a home. It is the bridge between your idea and consistent execution. Therefore, structure creates stability. Structure alone can still trap you in the day to day. If you're manually managing every moving part, the next step for us is to start actually freeing your time and energy so that you can lead strategically. And that is where our next step comes, which is automation. Automation is simply about multiplying. Automation is how you create efficiency, but at a different scale. By automating repetitive and time consuming tasks, you definitely recover hours each week and reduce the margin of human error. In plain English, this is where your vacation comes from and when you're able to take a holiday. So it's very important. Which areas can we automate? Let's talk about those. In our business, we definitely can automate lead capture and email follow-up. We can automate client onboarding and client communications. We can automate billing and appointment scheduling, internal reporting, team workflows, and communications management. Now, do not mistake that this step is about software, because it's not. It is about simplifying our everyday processes precisely to reduce decision fatigue and improve our performance. So we don't scale by doing more. We scale by doing less of what does not require you, the entrepreneur. Now, clarity, structure, and automation create a foundation very solid, but we cannot scale on those three alone. Our next level, which is step 4, requires us to release control and step fully into a leadership role, one of influence. And that means this is the moment we begin to delegate. Step 4, which is scaling, is actually about delegating. It's the only path. The only path to scale is through delegation, because delegation will certainly multiply my capacity through other people. Delegation is my core main growth strategy. The goal is to outsource not what you hate, but what does not need you. It is to build a team that complements your strengths and owns results. And this step focuses basically on identifying roles and tasks to delegate. And if you recall, this is where strengths root. We need to find people with strengths different from ours. This is about hiring or outsourcing with intention. It is also about creating standardized processes and communication structures. It's about leading our team with trust and accountability, because the more we delegate effectively, the more time we will recover, and we can invest that time in strategy, vision, and innovation. True growth happens when you stop being the only engine driving your business. Delegation is how visionaries scale. You are not meant to do it all by yourself. You're meant to lead it, because in the end, it's your vision as an entrepreneur. These 4 steps that we've talked about, clarify, structure, automation, and scaling, are the foundation of smart growth. They allow us to build a business that is not only profitable, but aligned with our lifestyle, our values, and legacy. It is a business that grows with us, not against us. Personally, I lived this transformation. When I implemented these moves, I stopped being the bottleneck in my business. I created systems, I found the right people, I automated processes, and definitely that helped me double my income in under a year. And I did it without sacrificing my family, my health, or my sanity. And I believe that's the framework that allows us to teach this 90-day program, what we call the Business Growth Accelerator. The Business Growth Accelerator is a hands-on program built for individuals like you. What do we do in this? We help personalize coaching, proven roadmaps, and we give you the tools to scale your business without the overwhelm. Whether you're just staring to scale or you're ready to create a bigger impact, this program meets you where you are, and it takes you where you want to go. We have been told as women that we need to lead like men, or individuals that we need to compete like this athlete or that other person. But our true strength lies in our empathy, in our resilience, in our vision, in our ability to understand what makes us an individual. We do not need to shrink to fit systems. We need to build systems that fit us as entrepreneurs. So when individuals rise, we definitely help lift others. When we invest in our growth, what happens is we multiply it. This is not just business. What we're building is a legacy for men and for women, for our children. So today I want you to do 3 things. First, I'd like for you to reflect on your growth as a person. And for those of you who are entrepreneurs, who are solopreneurs, or are thinking on creating a business, where are you now? And where do you want to go? Growth begins with honesty. So ask yourself, am I building my business or just running in circles? Am I waiting for the right moment? Am I waiting for all of my dots to line up? What am I doing? Is my current model supporting my vision? Or am I just draining my energy? What would be possible if I had the right tools, if I had the right guidance, if I had the experience, if I had the structure? This is the moment to pause and to see the bigger picture. Reflection will bring clarity. and clarity will create your momentum. Clarity alone will not move the needle. Do not be confused. Reflection must lead to a decision because what you don't change, it's what you choose to do. And what you choose, that's the reality you live in. That will bring us definitely to our next step, which is invest in yourself. Your future doesn't come by a chance. It comes by a choice. When we invest in a proven system, when we invest in experimentership, strategic accountability, we're just not paying for knowledge. We are unlocking a faster, more focused path forward. You are collapsing years of trial and error into months of meaningful growth. And here's the truth: the longer you wait to invest, the longer you are delaying your own results. Therefore, the best investment is the one you make in yourself because your business will not only grow, but it will grow as far as you grow as an individual. And even with the tools, you definitely must bring one more ingredient, which is belief, not in perfection, because as humans, we are not going to be perfect, but we have to definitely believe in having what we need to have at the right moment. We have to believe that what we carry inside is already enough for us to give our next step to begin. And that takes us to our third step, which is believe. We have to believe that you don't have to do this alone. You have what it takes today, but you also have a path. You do not need to be more experienced. You do not need to be more polished. You do not need more money. You don't need more time. You are ready. You simply need to say yes. Yes to you, yes to your strengths, yes to your goals, and yes to your future. The Business Growth Accelerator was built to support you in this very moment with practical guidance, strategic moves, and a step by step process to scale without chaos. You don't have to grow alone. You are the strategist your business has been waiting for. It is time for you to lead with clarity, to grow with your own structure, and to scale your life with purpose. So today I ask you to join us in the Growth Accelerator. Today is not the beginning, it is your breakthrough. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this presentation today. Well, now we need to stop chasing the growth that drains us, and we need to start building businesses that align with our vision, our values, and our strengths. You are not behind. You're just getting started. Let's build it together. Thank you very much.
Nancy, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So I hope that everybody that's on here was able to learn something from this. Again, if you had a question as she was speaking and you were thinking, gosh, I wish I could do a follow-up with her, the good news is that you can. We have about 21 minutes here together. We are going to go fast and furious, answer as many questions as possible. And then Nancy, did you want to bring Carlos on right now or later?
Let's bring him now. Thank you, Jenny.
Okay, sure. Yes, no problem. Okay, so Carlos is on with us now. If you were late hopping on, I gave a quick introduction about Carlos, but Carlos, why don't you introduce yourself just because people pop in and out and they've just been able to experience Nancy's presentation, but I want you to say in your own words who you are, what you do, who you serve.
All right. Thank you very much, Jenny, for having me back. Hello, Nancy. I'm really happy to be back at this panel and share my experiences with you. I love the presentation. I just wanted to add some things on specifically what I do. I'm an industrial and business manager. As you mentioned, I have a global MBA in international business. I am a project management professional. I'm certified by the PMI, which is the global reference for project management. I'm also a postgraduate in data science and business analysis, and part of the John Maxwell certified leadership coaches, trainers, and speakers. So, I'm a co-founder at Build It Up, and what I've done most of the 15 years of experience I have in working with managing strategic planning, governance models, organizational design, agile methodologies to achieve and help businesses achieve their objectives. I've also been working in developing and implementing tailored solutions for clients in manufacturing, telecommunications, and the technology sectors. And basically that's what I've been doing lately, helping with resource management, cost optimization, stakeholder engagement, and delivering projects, especially focusing on operational excellence and cost saving for a successful project completion in challenging environments. That's basically what I do, Jenny.
Oh, no big deal. Okay, awesome. Yeah, you both have a ton of experience, so it's really helpful to just hear in your own words what you do. Okay, so Nancy, let's go back to we're going to do a little Q&A here now. Let's go back to automation. You were talking about automation and referencing, and this is what's going to make everybody key in, right? This is how you get vacation days. This is how you get flexibility. This is how you get time off, is to have the automation. Let's get into this a little bit deeper. We talked about it in a sort of broad strokes. What specifically are you using? Are there certain apps? Are there certain tools, techniques, coworkers? What is it that you're suggesting people use for automation?
Well, it's a little of everything because in our case, we had a lot of trouble when it was about lead capture, how we were doing our follow-ups with our clients, existing and new clients. And nowadays, you just have a bunch of options. All you have to do is select the ones that are ideal for the size of your company and your objectives. So basically, you select the processes that do not need you specifically. And by this, one of the key ingredients is to create a schedule, your regular weekly schedule, and just start identifying what is repetitive, what is consuming your time, and which of these elements or which of these activities are actually um, prone to human error. Because those are the areas that we can automate. Those are the areas that you can start as a trial and error process to see what happens if I outsource this through this app, or what happens if I use this bot for this process. Because nowadays you have tons of options, like I said. In the end, it is about simplifying what you already doing because you need to reduce the process of decision making. There was one very famous entrepreneur who decided to save time on deciding what to wear. So they would always wear the same type of shirt and the same type of pants. And that is one way to actually simplifying a process. You no longer need to think what you need to wear every morning.
We do that in the news world where I've worked in news for 20 years, and you wear the same sheath dress or a blazer of a different primary color, the approved colors every day. And it simplifies happy to be on camera every day. So yes,
That's
I
right.
hear you. And I think about that story of who you're talking about so often. So that's interesting. Now, when somebody works with you, is that something that you would go through? You would help them sort of audit that and help figure out, okay, what can I automate? Because probably somebody's thinking, well, I don't know. I just go into my business and I have to be the one that makes the donuts or the cookies or the bread. I have to do that. And I have to answer to the customers that are coming in. I have to unlock the door. Is it possible that people aren't thinking of things that could be automated?
Yes, yes, completely. And you know, one of the principal symptoms of this is when you micromanage. And I was a victim of that. I used to micromanage a lot, and I used to think I am the one who makes the cookies. I am the one who knows the recipe. But actually, when you have good SOPs, when you have clear directions, and one of the principles now is kind is clear, that way they can be replicable because there is no possibility of growing a business if what you're doing is not replicable. And most of the time, as a founder, as an entrepreneur, we hinder ourselves and we don't know it because we just think it otherwise. We think, no, this is me taking care of the details. But no, it's you as an entrepreneur focus on something that's not going to help you grow. So, yes, going back to your question, we do help people, especially because, like I said, there are tons of options. And you don't want to choose the one with the best marketing. You don't want to choose the one with the best sales hook. You don't want to do that. You want to choose the ideal one for your objectives and for the size of your company. So basically, when it comes to this, clarity is so important. And first of all, the entrepreneur has to be on board because it is about releasing control. And this is not easy. This is not easy because um, our businesses becomes an extension of our family. It's like our kids. It's another one of our kids, and it's hard to release control. But when you lay it out on a paper, when you're able to see your week, when you're able to mark what is repeating itself and to identify what really doesn't require you, then you start seeing it in black and white that delegation is possible, but especially that time that you're going to get freed by delegating is definitely going to produce more results for your company, which is what every entrepreneur is looking for.
Nancy, I love some honesty here, right? She's like, look, I was a micromanager.
Oh, yeah.
Most micromanagers never come to that. Like they never come full circle to realize that. They just, continue to do it. I've rarely seen somebody have that sort of self-awareness. What did you notice that you were doing? How did it come about that you realized, oh, wow, I'm kind of getting in my own way here?
Well, I almost collapsed. Yeah, micromanagement was really getting in my way in my health. I started to hate my business. I hated everything I was doing because I didn't have time for anything. And I was resentful of how people working with me and for me would take off the week. Couldn't. But this is where it's super important to have people you trust tell you the truth, even when it's hard, even when you don't want to hear it. And one time I got sick and my business kept going. And you know what? That was a real wake up call because my business didn't need me. It was the other way around. It was me thinking my business needed me. So that wake up call was a true vision for me because I was able to, get better and then to create a product to help others realize that being an entrepreneur, it's not about hindering your future, your life, or your health. It's about creating sustainability and to be able to give a company to your children.
Oh, sometimes we think we're so important, don't we?
Yes.
Carlos, have you ever experienced this type of symptom, or have you always been a master delegator?
No, what Nancy just mentioned is very important for all of us to understand that we need to have people around us and that we trust, but we have to do some work in order for that trusting environment to create. And we have discussed this with Nancy that this takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of sacrifices to get there. But sadly, we'll have a lot of us will only learn that until we fall sick with burnout, or we get depressed, or we cannot sleep at night because we're getting anxious and because we're not getting enough sleep. And getting in the way of ourselves, it only hinders innovation in your company, because if you're constantly reminding someone about what they have to do, or giving unrequested inputs on how they should do their work, is something that will give the wrong message to the people, as if you are the one who has to be there on top of them, constantly reminding and doing this helicopter tactics on management, and they will not blossom as leaders and will not lead their processes or their daily activities the way they would be if they would own those activities on their own. So yeah, I have definitely faced that, but I've seen the other side as well of allowing people to take full ownership of their own roles.
Yeah, allowing leaders to potential leaders to become leaders, to falter, to try again. Yeah, it's such a great lesson there. So you have both talked. Nancy talked a little bit about the growth accelerator, business growth accelerator. So it sounds like, oh my goodness, this sounds wonderful, right? What does this look like if somebody signs up or they call you? What's the first step? What does this look like on a day in, day out basis if somebody signs up for this or decides to hire you for this?
Yeah, well, we start with the person, all right, because independently of it being a Fortune 500 company or being a solopreneur, as Nancy mentioned before, it all starts with a person. It starts with a vision. It starts with an idea. So we need to know where that person is at the moment. So we explore and dive into what their ideas are, what their intentions are, and we conduct the assessment that we spoke of the last session about the strengths and the strengths finder that we call it, or the strengths leadership assessment. And we try to get a little bit more information in order for this person to understand who they are through the results of the assessment and find out what are the strengths and how they can better put together an idea for their intent. Because, and we usually start with a question if they have ever had the opportunity to use their strengths in what they do every day. And the chances is that they will say yes, but they actually don't. And we also ask them, what do you think your strengths are? And they come out like, oh, I'm very responsible, I'm very dependable, I work very hard. But once you put specific names to those strengths, their faces just light up. They understand what and how those trends manifest, and then that's where we start. But this like a 3 session work, and then we start putting together things that will have actionable insights into what they can do with their business ideas. And if they already have a business, we reformulate to give that business a personality, or what we call a brand identity. We formulate these strategies related to their strengths, but translated into a brand or a brand idea that they can come up with and start with their strategic plan and then the subsequent plans. Basically, that's the route that we usually take with someone coming on board with this program.
And how often are you chatting with them or working with them?
Weekly. Some of them we do it's usually we offer it as a 1 hour a week, but it's usually 2 or 3 hours that we work with them, because it gets so interesting, and it's so intuitive, and it's you enjoy the process, and the people enjoy the process so much that we lose track of time sometimes, and we just go off script sometimes, and we enjoy the process so much that it's usually a little bit more than just an hour. And but they also have the option to contact us whenever they need some help or they feel like they're stuck at some point. But it's basically that way. Some others, they just need specific support or mentorship in some areas or some key areas, and that we take it from there. But it's the most frequent is the weekly session.
Is there any business that is not an ideal client for you or that wouldn't be ready yet to work with Build It Up?
We don't have that kind of definition, but our desired customer is someone who listens, who is open for an advice. Because if we're fighting back and forth, then we're going nowhere. So that's the ideal customer, someone that's open, that's willing to listen, to put the work in it, because we have not faced that sort of situation, someone coming on board and not wanting to do the work. But I have faced it in public sector sort of projects where these are like free programs, and people are feel like they're being pushed into doing something, and then they may have some interest, and they just expect things to just come like they are being handed to them, and that's not how it's going to happen. But if it's something that you're investing in, if it's something that you really want, if it comes from the intent, if that's coming from within, then of course you're going to do the work, you're going to put in the effort, because you are clear of where this is going to lead you and where this is going to lead your business to.
I love the way that you said that. Like, look, you all are there for these people, but they have to be ready and then there for themselves too. They have to be ready,
Exactly.
willing to self-reflect like Nancy did. Like Nancy said, hey, I saw this in myself. I've changed. It's been great. I have come a long way. You know, I think that honesty, it sounds like you have to be ready for that honesty. So I wanted to run through, before we wrap up, how to get in touch with you. So y'all, it is up on the screen right now. If you take it down, if you're taking notes with me, get a picture, get a screenshot. If you can screen record on your screen, we will have the replay up, but if you're like me, you need to do it right now if you're kind of thinking about doing it. Is that the best way to get in touch with you, through the information up on the screen, Nancy?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Thank you, Jenny.
Well, thank you both for the time today. It was really a pleasure. It was great to see you in person, virtually, Nancy and Carlos both.
Thank you so
Sincerely,
much.
thank you so much. Wonderful presentation. We
It was
appreciate it.
our
Thank
pleasure,
you all for the
Jenny.
opportunity. Thank
We'll
you.
be back anytime you call us to be here.
Wonderful. I love to hear it. So for everybody that's on today, again, the get in touch information on the screen. And here's the deal too. This is part 2 of a 2-part series. If you missed last week, you go to sarah-national.org. All the information's there, or you go to YouTube and you search Sarah National, that YouTube channel. It's like what Carlos was saying. Like, sometimes there's something free out there and you think it's going to come easily. Listen, this is a free library of so many incredible experts that have generously come on and taught this. So if you're not taking advantage of it, it's like, what are you doing? There is so much information there on the YouTube page. So go on there. I listen to these when I'm getting ready, or when I'm, driving in the car, listen to it almost like a podcast. So get on there, give these some listens, let yourself become enriched. And then if you're ready to get in touch with them, again, the information up on the screen. For more seminars from Sarah National, we will see you next week, same time, same place. And again, all the information is on the website. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.